and they do learn. Good game. That's 3 in a row, you guys. You get the idea, right? You cycle it out. Take that. Hello, good game. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ghouls and goblins. You know what it is. Smash that thumbs up button. Get ready for another banging video. The ultimate starter deck, right? We've been taking a look at some of the starter decks, upgrading them with the amount of wildcards that you typically receive with a new account. We had an individual try out 14 different starting accounts for the optimal deck for them. They came back to us with a few different lists, and we've got them showcased for you guys, right? Doing the Lord's work. Hallelujah. I hope you're ready because, I don't want any more complaints. We've got you guys set up with the perfect decks to start playing Magic the Gathering Arena and, quite frankly, hit some of the top ranks as well. So in today's video, we'll break down the deck list, talk about strategies, synergies, the strengths, the weaknesses. We'll showcase the gameplay footage discussing our playlines and interactions. This is going to give you a good idea whether or not the deck is right for your personal playstyle. And of course, that precious wild card collection, because we've got a couple different starter deck upgrades for you guys, right? So, you'll only be able to do one, and then you'll have to farm for the other one. So, try to watch all of those videos and make that choice for yourself, of course. That would be the best, and then you're going to be happy with it, right? So, we'll also break down the deck to wrap up the video, our final thoughts and review for your viewing leisure. Thank you all so much for the support. I cannot tell you how much I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Check out the Linktree link if you're looking for any of the contingencies within today's video, the contest, the giveaways, the affiliate links, the Patreon, all of that can easily be found there. And again, cheers. I hope you're having a magical day. If not, you will be after this. Let's get into it. All right, you guys, this is the ultimate starter deck. 2.8 average mana value with 25 non-creatures, 16 creatures, 19 land. But that's all right because it is a cycling deck. And if you're unfamiliar with this, what it means is we can pay an amount to cycle a card, which means discarding it from our hand and drawing a card off the top. That's known as cycling, right? So this is actually a very powerful mechanic within Magic the Gathering Arena. It will allow you to kind of sift through your deck to find those powerful cards that you want to be playing consistently. And wow, cycling's in an amazing spot right now within Standard thanks to Ikoria. It got an upgrade as well. Well, not an upgrade, but how do I say it? A revisit, right? And typically we were playing Boros cycling, and we've changed it now to Jeskai cycling, and that's the inclusion of blue within the deck. And we're actually hard casting a few things. The most notable addition to the deck from the previous version is Improbable Alliance, right? This will, I'll just go through it. Enchantment for 2, whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying, right? So we're cycling, right? We draw, that's one draw, and then we cycle, that's our second draw. That triggers the Alliance. We also have 4 copies of the Pyromancer in deck, a similar trigger, a 0/4 for 3 mana. When you draw your second card each turn, Pyromancer deals 3 damage to any target. Woof. This girl is thick. She knows how to throw it down. I absolutely love it. And of course, we've got things like the Zenith Flare in deck, much like the free-to-play version. Instant speed for 4, dealing X damage to any number, not any number, to any target. It feels like any number. Everybody dies. X damage to any target, you gain X life, where X is equal to the number of cycling cards in our graveyard. And the cool thing about that is when we cycle a card, we discard it, it goes into our grave. That number is going to continuously grow, which is pretty cool as long as there's no graveyard hate. Moving on from that, we've got, the fillers. 4 copies of Flourishing Fox, a 1/1. Whenever you cycle another card, put a +1/+1 counter on Flourishing Fox. It itself cycles for 1. Great. It can easily become a 7/7 and dominate the playfield. We've got 4 copies of Valiant Rescuer for 2 mana. Whenever you cycle another card for the first time each turn, on your turn and your opponent's turn, you can create a 1/1 white human soldier token, which is great. You can cycle the Rescuer for 2. 4 copies of Startling Development, instant speed. Until your next turn, target creature becomes a blue serpent with base power and toughness of 4/4, cycling for 1. We can actually make one of our tokens a 4/4 and attack with that if it will give us lethal, because we've included blue mana into the deck. Of course, cycle for that trigger, and the rest of the deck is fine as well. 4 copies of Drannith Stinger, 2 mana, 2/2, cycling for 1 as well. And whenever you cycle another card, Drannith Stinger deals 1 damage to each opponent. So that's a good amount of chip damage. 4 copies of Go for Blood, sorcery speed, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control, cycling for 1. Great, a little bit of removal, which is cool once the Fox gets big enough. And of course, you can cycle it early game to get it there. 2 copies of Shredded Sails for 2 at instant speed. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact. Shredded Sails deals 4 damage to target creature with flying, or cycling for 2, which is nice. We already talked about the Alliance. You can pay 6 to draw a card, then discard a card. That's your double draw for the turn, as always. And we have a single copy of Neutralize, counter target spell, instant speed for 3 mana. The double blue is tricky, but it is required against some of those crazy meta decks. You gotta counter that ultimatum spell, right? Cycling for 2, which is cool as well. We talked about the Pyromancer, we talked about the Flare. 2 copies of Frostveil Ambush for 5, cycling for 1. Instant speed, tap 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. It's fine, whatever. Cycle probably. The Boon of the Wishgiver, cycling for 1. Again, 90% of the time, we are cycling this card away. We may cast it, but it is incredibly unlikely. Draw 4 cards, cycling for 6, sorcery speed. I know what you're saying. Well, if we're cycling the blue cards all the time, why do we have blue mana? The Improbable Alliance, do not forget. And then the rest is rare utility. We've got the Triomes, cycling for 3 here as well if we need. Plus, it fixes our mana. And then the Pathways, right? So that's where the wild cards go within this deck. That Pathway collection will not only make this deck accessible and playable at the highest, limit that it can, but it will also give you access to other decks, and you'll be able to play those consistently as well and effectively. So, the Pathways are so groovy right now. None of them are rotating out, so they're cool to collect. The Triome will rotate out, but it's really nice for the deck as well. And of course, we do have the Pyromancer rotating as well. However, this doesn't take effect until September. And I guarantee you, if you start playing this deck, you'll be able to farm the 8 rare wild cards that rotate out in September, right? That's how strong this deck is. You're going to be winning every event you enter, as far as I'm concerned, every match you enter, which is what I did today, of course, in Mythic. So you can do it too. I believe in you. And yeah, your general strategy and synergy here, if you've missed out on it, is to establish a field presence, whether it's Improbable Alliance making tokens, Valiant Rescuer making tokens, the Fox just being the big blocker, and of course you can get the Stinger in there for chip damage as well. Working your way now into the Pyromancer, you're cycling, potentially dealing 4 damage every turn to your opponent. Drannith Stinger deals 1 damage, Pyromancer deals 3 damage, that's 4 to your opponent, and each of these creatures are non-legendary. You can stack them, woof, and then we're building into our Zenith Flare, right? So clog up the field, deal that damage, and then there's lethal. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? That's the deck list. Enjoy today's gameplay footage as well. I encourage you to check out our Linktree link if you haven't yet to help support the channel. We've got lots of cool affiliates into the AM, eWin Racing. They're always sending me free stuff. I love it. If you're not looking to spend money, you can download Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant for free, which is pretty cool. And you can also jump in our Discord so you can partake in the contests, giveaways, free cash prize tournaments. There's lots going on for you in there as well. So everybody wins. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the deck. And of course, we'll be back to wrap up after our final, after the gameplay footage with our final thoughts. Take care and enjoy. We go first with 2 flares in hand. This might be a little silly, right? We do want to sneak the Improbable Alliances out, kind of fill up the field with those 1/1s. Hopefully there's no trample and, enchantment removal. And we should, keywords should be okay. I'm not going to cycle development until we have Improbable Alliance out. And Eye Twitch is a good card. And, yeah, Improbable Alliance is going to be hard to get out without the land. So we'll probably just go Rescuer. Right? LOL. That basic plains does slow us down. We've got the deck upgraded for you guys a little bit from the free-to-play version. Again, this comes from the same gentleman who made and tested 14 starting accounts to get, the optimal wildcard dispersion throughout their account. I don't know really how to say it. But you don't want to be wasting wildcards when you only have so many to start with, right? So it's important to myself and others within the community to try to provide some of the best options for you guys, right? No attacks here. We don't want to trade a 3-1 with a 1-1. It is also a 1-1 generation engine, so we just leave it sit there and we can attack the 1-1s next turn. That Scavenger is disgusting. We really want to draw a land. We don't get it. We really want to draw a land. Even another cycling card would be great. The Pyromancer can nuke the Scavenger. We have the 1 fairy to block. Potentially, we should have stacked alliances and saved a Pyromancer for later. But I really want to start cycling these flyers out of existence. I will honestly just take that 2 damage now. Okay. And then this is cycling for 2. That actually does suck a lot. But it is what it is. Maybe we can get another land here. Negative. And these are both really, really good. And it's in our graveyard as well. So I do think that we should take that Scavenger. Just because we're cycling cards into our graveyard, and that might not be beneficial. No attacks here. You know, we have plenty of tokens. They've got the life gain, which is annoying. You know, hopefully we can deal with that next turn. We could cycle the Rescuer if we need. And I'm really relying on that Pyromancer to take us home. This Dogged Pursuit's okay. That's actually a neat card, something I'd like to play with in a beginner deck. And, you know, just taking the damage sucks, down to 14, but whatever. So we could just nuke it for 2. Or we could cycle it. Use the Pyromancer to nuke it and try to draw that second land. We don't. We kill the Valkyrie. And now we've got lots of 1-1s that we could probably get in with, right? I assume that they will block with the Eye Twitch, pull Necrotic Fumes, and exile the Pyromancer on their next creature play. We're not seeing that, though, so that's okay. We're going to keep the Fox, and maybe next turn we'll play an Alliance, cycle the Fox. Another Valkyrie. But the Pyromancer is just too powerful. We are down to 12. We've got the flares to save us, right? We do have double cycle, which is good. Let's get the one out now. So we create 3 1-1 tokens. We deal 3 damage to any target, right? Wolf. And of course we draw a card, which is great. Triome in play. Let's just send those 1-1s in again. Down to 18, and you know, we can let these flares rip now because we've got 4 mana. The Demogoth will sacrifice the Eye Twitch, draw a card, gain 2 life. And we discard a card, but that actually kind of helps us. Alrighty. Are these are both cycle 1. Yeah, let's just long con it. And then we may as well cycle 2. Right? Because we're only doing 1 this turn. And we get 4 1-1 tokens. We kill the Eye Twitch, because then the Demogoth has to sacrifice itself, which is pretty cool. And we attack with 10. They block 1 of the grounders. We still get in with 4. Oops. No! We're supposed to click them back. That's on me. That was an absolute misclick. We're going to be okay, though. It's fine. Don't worry about it. They still have to sacrifice themselves. Got the flares. That 0-4 attack is spicy. We just toss the cycle to the grave. They're at 12. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we've got lethal. And then some. They gain 1 life. That's not going to do it. The Witch is interesting. And then they remove an alliance. Right? And they also create, because the mana is less than 2, so they create 2 1-1s. Which is neat. 1 from the Magecraft, 1 from the spell's ability. And we're down to 10. All right, we should have, I guess, cycled this before. We've got 5 mana, so we may as well. Again, we still create 3 tokens. Screw you, man. And then we flare up for 7. Right, that's fun. And we hit for lethal. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, even if they gain life. Good game. Right, so, you know, even with that little misplay, we still pile on to our opponent, and there's literally nothing they can do without reoccurring field wipes, which is pretty cool. And this is, you know, one of the most powerful free-to-play decks with those upgrades included from the wild cards that you have from starting the game, right? So, you know, we're going to try a couple matches, and of course, you know, we've got the deck tech on both ends of the video to help explain, you know, the importance of this deck for you guys. So let's play another match. Round 2, fight! Irencrag Pyromancer is giving me Scorpion vibes. You know what I mean? It's like Lady Scorpion. I've actually not watched the new Mortal Kombat yet. I should probably get on that. And we might want to cycle this. Right? Let's just get our first token generation engine in play, which, you know, it can be countered here. It can be removed later on. Lofty Denial. Mono Blue Luris? That can't be. This has to be Rogues, and they've just not played a Swamp yet. Azorius Rogues. Well, not Rogues. Azorius Auras because of Luris? I'll allow it. I want to see if we can get that Stinger out. Because we know they've got counter magic. And this does good chip damage, right? The Vandal is good. And now they're going to equip, you know, Staggering Insight, I believe? For 2 mana, then they still got 2 mana up. All that glitters. And in Staggering Insight, double down. You dog. Sentinel's Eyes down to 1 mana. They don't draw a second card, though. That is a big, big hit. And only 4 damage as well. That is problematic. I'm not gonna lie. There's no way they counter that. And we just need to double cycle on it next turn. I'm going to play the land just in case. No attacks. I guess we could have attacked with the Stinger, have them block it, and then cycle to it. Their mana is pretty tapped here. No, okay. They've got 2 up, which is frightening. And they just hit for 4. But they can't counter the cycling. They could counter the creature. I think we're good. Wow, we should keep both of these for later. Let's cycle here. Just for 2 mana. They could have something, but I doubt it. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. So that's a really good hit for us. Should we swing in with the 0-4 again? Oh, HGG. You cracked me up, bro. Okay, so 2 cards in hand that we don't see. We know they've got Luris, Sentinel's Eyes. Luris can replay things like all that glitters, Fairy Vandal from the grave. But if they don't deal with the Pyromancers, you know, we're just slanging fire. It's a lot of damage. Right, we do 7 damage just here, and then we attack for 2. Good game. 2-0. Pyromancer's OP. We had plenty more cycle as well, and, you know, doesn't take too many upgrades to make this deck absolutely disgusting. So if you haven't decided on what deck you want to be committing those wildcards to yet, this might be the one for you. But let's play another match just to find out. Okay, we go first, and you know, Pyromancer Rescuer in hand. Neat. We can keep 7. Let's take it slow. We would like to find that 3rd land as well. Let's play the Rescuer first. Stinger is nice. It also cycles for 1, which is pretty good. Listening to the new On album today. It's interesting. I can get behind it. Check it out if you've not heard it yet. It has a collab with Decca on it, which I'm like super for. I love Decca, which is nice. It's got other interesting people on it as well, like Afro and the Rugged Man, Blue Locksmith, and the such. If you guys are interested in music, I think I'm gonna try to incorporate a link to my Spotify playlists. Then you can get in on the grooves if you want. It's our opponent's turn, right? We might have a Skyclave Apparition. That would be, oh, I don't know, brutal. Maybe we shouldn't play it till next turn. These are all cycling too, though, so we have to play it now and risk it. We're risking it for the biscuit. And then we can hopefully control their field so there's no window to creatures, right? They do have it. Son of a bee. It's frustrating. Do they have another? No attacks. We just chill. They've got lots of life. They just let it through, right? It's of no benefit to us. Spellbinder, we can just cycle, right? It just doesn't affect us at all. Right? We can still cycle this for 1. Oh, no, we can't because it's already in exile. That's a bummer that we can't cycle that. I guess it's in exile, so we can't discard it. That makes sense to me. Sadly. Alright, let's kill that Skyclave. Spellbinder's a human, so we don't really care about it as much. I guess we can't play it, so we may as well not cycle it. No attacks. We can't double cycle here, so there's no point on doing it either. Hit for 3, don't mind. At the very least, they're playing that Inkling. And that's probably what it will target, because it's a non-human and a flyer. Well, shoot. So they're in our hand again. You know, taking the cycling cards does suck. I'm sure they take the Fox. They should take something with cycling for 1 because it's harder for us to cycle with 2. So we can cycle this for 1. Kill the Professor. And then we can Shredded Sails the Flyer if we need an instant speed. We have 1 cycling for 1, and they have taken our other 2, which limits us from double cycling on their next turn. So let's hit for 4. Kind of getting a little bit closer to an even playing field now. We need that blue source for Improbable Alliance. A 3rd Spellbinder. Wow. Wow. We can try cycling for 1 and try to get another cycling for 1. What do you guys think of that? Come on, cycling for 1. No. We still get the 1/1 token, which is good, but we need to get after it. So I don't want to, you know, overpay for this, and we're getting hit for 9 next turn, right? So we definitely needed to Shredded Sails these things, or may as well cycle one of them, right? Cycling for 1, not good enough. And then I guess, you know, we can just instant speed Shredded Sails one of them. We do get a nice hit for 9 ourselves. Down to 7. End our turn. We could use a Flare, right? We're getting close to Flare Town. If they play Winota, they get no triggers, but they do hit for 6. Well, 3. Let's remember our Shredded Sails. They're in a tough spot. I believe they're bricking, right? We've got 4. They only have 3. But they've been executing pretty well with that 3 mana, right? Hopefully there's no protection, right? So we're down to 6, and we have lethal. Right? We can cycle to kill their blocker that they play. And then we just hit 4 Leith skis. It's been a long time since I played cycling, honestly. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy this deck. The protection's good. They've got 2 creatures. Wow, no mana though. And they do learn. Good game. That's 3 in a row, you guys. You get the idea, right? You cycle it out. Take that recycling out, boys! And ladies, of course, I hope. You know, we should have an influx of ladies. That'd be way cooler, if I'm being honest. Let's break down the deck, do our final review, and all that goodness, right? Woof, woof, woof. The ultimate starter deck, without a doubt, right? You do get a, you know, limited amount of wildcards to be spending on starter decks, and this is probably one of the better routes to take, right? It is one of the most powerful free-to-play decks, even without the rares, and it definitely turns up the volume once you start adding those Pyromancers and the land in as well. You know, big woofs, I love the deck. You stack up those Pyromancers, it's GG.com as far as I'm concerned, right? So I love it. You used to have to rely on the Zenith Flare almost entirely. Not that Pyromancer, baby. You know, cycling once on your turn to trigger it, cycling twice on your opponent's turn to trigger it, and it's a magical time. So let me know what you guys thought of the deck, how you'd change it up, improve it. I doubt you can, but I'm open to it, right? Take care, enjoy another video on me. Check out the playlist and let it rip to help support the channel as well. That's always cool for the algorithm. Drop a like, of course, if you haven't yet on your way out. And more importantly, have a magical day. Do take care. We'll see you soon.